Good afternoon, mango lovers. How you doing? I'm Vince. I'm Backyard Mangoes, and I'm pretty excited. I went to my buddy Borris Ostra's house, and I got some scions. They weren't perfectly prepped, so they're not going to be. I don't have a whole lot of hope here, but hey, man, you got to try. So I'm going to work on these scions, and you're wondering what it is. You got to watch the video for longer. Um, but I've been trying to work with different techniques on trying to sterilize these things, make them better. And I know we all do something different. We all have a new trick. I know somebody who uses grapefruit extract on theirs. Somebody who dips them in rubbing alcohol. Somebody who, all kinds of voodoo, whatever they do. But I was talking to Michael, a grower in Bermuda. I did a video with him, and what he's mentioned is he said take copper fungicide and spray it. And the purpose of that is you're trying to um, rid that scion of any disease. Like this scion here, I don't know if that's what this white powder is, but it's on there. And so what I'm going to do, and I don't know if I've been catching that on video, I'm going to just spray that scion and I'll let it dry. It's windy, it's warm, with copper fungicide. Because I've been having issues sometimes with my different grafting. So one of the things I've got now is a real grafting knife, and I like this. My grafting success rate has improved. What I was using is just a regular straight razor blade. This is a box cutter to keep your fingers safe, and then I replace the blade every few cuts. And what you may notice is the blade picks up, it discolors for whatever chemical reaction is probably happening in between the scion, the sap, and then this. Even though I've cleaned and sterilized this over and over again, still discolors it. So I'm curious if there's something leaching out of here. I don't know. But I can tell you, since I moved to the stainless steel knife, that's a real grafting knife, my personal success rate has improved. So I'm pretty happy with this small investment. What else do I need to graft? Well, I have, and I'm reaching down here, I have pockets all over, real grafting tape. I believe we call this budding tape, and it's super stretchy. I'm going to get a little piece. I need to buy another roll soon. These rolls are not cheap. They're $35, $40, somewhere in that ballpark. But you can see one little piece here can stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. So that's stretched, I think they advertised 6 times. It was probably, or 8 times, something like that. But it was a significant amount of stretching that happens there. I use this to wrap the scions. What else do I use? I dropped this. I use some cellophane wrappers that you would use to make ice cream. Whoops. I wasn't supposed to tell you what scion I have, but it's on there. Can you see it? Anyway, these cellophane wrappers, I mark them, and I can slide the scion inside this bag. It keeps it a little bit dry, keeps the water intrusion from coming into my grafts, and then I seal up the bottom. So these work well. So those are my tools that I use to graft. Here's the seedling I have selected. It has been chosen. This seedling, I either have a choice right here, which I really like, or down here, which I really like. A little bit further, it gets a little too woody. I think I'm going to go here. And so a couple things I like to do is, first thing is, I like to just take off some of the old leaves. Why do I do that? Because I don't know what I'm doing, or I believe what I believe is the energy that would have been going into those leaves is now going to continue to move up the trunk or the stem of this little seedling. The next thing I need to do is I need to decide, am I going to do a side graft or a cleft graft? And let's look at the scion here. I think I'm going to just go for the cleft graft, which means cut the top of this off. And what I do like is, see, this is actively growing, which means energy has been flowing. It wants to flow, is flowing. We're going to cut that off, take my scion, and a couple of things here. I'm going to recut this off. Now I am going to determine the best I can where I want to cut this. It's one cut. That is not the cut I want, but we may go for it. So next I am going to just set this down neatly, brace myself. I'm not sure we can see all that's going on. That looks pretty good. Actually, let's see if I can grab a little more of this. Grab a little more of this. Pop it into place. I like that. Make sure at least one side lines up well. Take a little piece of tape. I fold the tape in half and go around it just real quick one time. The reason why is I want to hold it in place. And that doubled up tape really does a strong job there of kind of holding it where I want it to. The next piece of tape, a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be much, because remember, this stuff stretches, so this is like barely an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. Start below the graft, well below the graft. And it takes some nimble fingers. It takes some practice. And what happened is I got my tape a little twisted here, which means I'm going to have to get more tape. Actually, I might not. I'll just go ahead and wrap that right there. Now I have a pretty good bond. It's sealed up top. However, one last step is, remember, I like to mark this. This does say Choc Anon. It does say the date. So now what I do is open this up. And somebody told me a trick to put just a drop of water in there to add a little humidity. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll add just a drop of, there you go. There we go. And then with this, I take one more piece of tape, just a small piece, it doesn't take much. Fold it in half again, and then go around the bottom of this seal. And it just seals it up pretty well. And then that's it. So there I go. One Choc Anon grafted on 9/24, 2 days before my birthday, by the way. I'll put this in a really shady spot, take the weeds out, and keep it watered.